There is power in a story, and we all have a story. Our stories, if told, can inspire, encourage, and motivate. Hi, I am Rhonda, and welcome to the Book of Lives. Hi everyone, welcome to the Book of Lives. Today we're going to hear the story of a nurse who traveled all the way to New York to help care for COVID-19 patients. Jessie, hello and welcome.
Hi.
So Jessie, a few things before I start. I wanted to say thank you so much for your dedication, your commitment, and your selfless service. Thank you.
Thank you.
And I also wanted to say happy belated birthday. I hope you had a
Thank
great
you.
day. Did you have a good day?
Thank you. It was good. It was chaotic with two kids, but it was good.
Awesome, awesome. So, Jessie, on the Book of Lives, we're all about stories, and stories have beginnings. Where does your journey to becoming a nurse begin?
I would have to say in high school, I've always had a passion for caring and helping other people out and fixing things. And my anatomy and physiology teacher thought that a nurse would be a good fit for me. Originally, she had mentioned being a NICU nurse since I had a passion for babies, and that's not where my path of career took. I ended up being a advanced cardiac nurse, doing med surg, neuro, and many other things of nursing world. But that's where my passion started, and that's when I figured out that I wanted to become a nurse. So I looked into the prereqs, started them, and then went to nursing school.
Awesome. So, back in April, you picked up and you went to New York to help care for COVID patients. Why go? Why New York?
So I had worked as a contract nurse for 5 years prior, um, and I lost my job in March. And so when I was sitting there at home unexpectedly with losing my job, I was watching TV and watching this COVID-19 unfold a little bit more, and I saw people that were having to die alone, or hearing of people that were having to die alone, that the families could no longer come into the hospital. They were being overwhelmed. So I started feeling a calling to be with those people, even if it's just to hold their hand during their last breath, just so they don't have to die alone. I feel like I was a strong enough person to be a part of that blessing of the last part of their lives. And then a little part of me hoped and prayed that I could make a difference, even if the outcome didn't look good, or maybe even something I can do or say or be a part of would help increase the outcome of these patients. So does that help? Does that explain a little bit of it?
Yes, it certainly does. It certainly does. I can only imagine how difficult it must have been for you and for your colleagues. What kept you guys? What kept you during the hard times?
So it was a for real moment. Even stepping off of the plane, I met a friend. We were traveling the same flight together, leaving the same city. And when we arrived at JFK, and we were the only two people and then one other nurse, so three people total in the whole airport, was a surreal moment. Then we all shared an Uber together into town, where our hotel was, and walked down to Times Square. And again, we were the only people out there. So then we knew, like, whoa, what is this, so that was a hard part. When we got to the hospital, we worked 12-hour shifts. We were taking a bus into the hospital, working, putting our all in everything, and then getting right back on the bus, not getting back to our hotel at 8 o'clock at night, leaving at 5:30. So it was a full day. We were exhausted. It was discouraging. Seeing the deaths that did happen, the conditions of the patient's environment was not ideal. We had to get creative in many ways of PPE, of caring for the patients. And the motivation, I would say, is when we did get to see a patient discharge, which was few, but we were able to see some of those made a difference. When we would FaceTime with our personal phones with family members so they could see their kids or their spouse or their loved ones, and to see that smile on their face, that made it worth it. Motivation from each other. There were so many times we would just cry or have all this gear on and be so tired and fatigued and hot that we didn't know what to do next. And we just look at each other and be like, okay, what do we do next? Okay, well, I'm going to help you with this. Let's help each other with that. And that's what it took, is it took a team of people. Granted, there were some not so good medical teams and there were some outstanding medical teams. That's going to be wherever you go, no matter wherever you are. But when you put circumstances in front of that, that just weighs on you. That's how we got through it. That's how I got through it. And then they did have crisis counselors there. It was very helpful to talk with them and just, hey, how's your day going? And like, it was not good today. It was not good. So that's how we got through it, or that's how I got through it, the difficult times, and kept going.
Jessie, what has this taught you? What lessons have you learned from this whole experience?
Oh, well, you will be surprised at what you can handle. If you would have told me, hey, you're going to work 12-hour shifts for 20-something days straight, 30 days straight, I would have said, you are crazy. I don't want to work 3 12s in a row. I don't want to work 4 12s in a row, much less 20 and 30 12-hour shifts in a row. Wearing full PPE, being pushed to my limits, physically, emotionally, spiritually, just being pushed. So that's what kept me going, is just to stay focused.
Yeah. It's amazing how resilient we can be.
Yeah. So I've learned, I guess, personal growth of how much I can handle and how much we can do whenever you have a cause behind it. That drives your passion, and nothing else really matters after that. If you have that passion and that drive, you can push through pretty much anything. Awesome. So that's what I've learned about myself, and having 2 young kids and an amazing husband that helps out a lot. I didn't have that person or those little people needing me. I had a much larger scale that needed me, my patients and colleagues and friends that I met there. So I learned a lot of self, if you will.
Excellent. Excellent. Before we wrap up, Jessie, I want you to tell those listening how they can keep safe during this pandemic. What are some of the steps they can take to just keep themselves safe?
So I'm probably not going to give you the answer that everyone gives you. I'll give you the brief one of what the normal, don't touch your face, wash your hands, use hand sanitizer. We can do all of those things. I am not a person that believes that you should stay indoors, that you should stay inside all the time and wear your mask as soon as you walk outside. Absolutely, I don't believe that that's a way of human living in our rights. But is it precautionary and a respectful thing to wear your mask when you're sitting close to someone? I think that's up to you and that person. If you're in a large crowd, well, obviously, if you wear a mask, it's going to cut down on any germs and viruses being spread. So yes, take your standard precautions. That's pretty much what the standard has become.
Yeah.
But I am not one to tell you to wear a mask as soon as you walk out the door to when you come back in, wear it in your car. I'm not at all for that. But I do I do believe in, you know, hand hygiene, keep your hands away from your face, and doing those just general things that we would normally do. I think people are going to start learning how much they are in awareness of how many germs are spreading. So I think it's good for the population in general to reiterate the cleanliness of hand hygiene.
Okay. That's great. Jessie, thank you so much for talking with me. I appreciate it. And thank you so much for all that you do. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. It's a blessing. I feel a little guilty sometimes being a nurse, and it's my calling, and people say, "Oh, thank you for doing that." And I go, "Oh, well, it just comes natural to me." And someone said that, you know, no, that's not. It's a talent of yours when something comes natural to you. So I think a lot of medical professionals, you know, feel that same way of, oh, it's a talent. And I just feel guilty sometimes, people thanking me and thanking me for something I do every day and that I love. So thank you
Well,
so much for the interview and sitting down with me and thanking me.
absolutely. Being a nurse requires heart and requires you to be selfless. So, yes, we will thank you. I will thank you. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. It requires a special kind of constitution and makeup, and not everyone has it. So,
Yeah.
that's why we say thanks.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
And for those of you who are watching, thank you so much. Until next time, stay inspired.